before we segue into Superman, because I'm excited to dig into that. Where did you learn to kind of take that authority when developing a character? Like, did somebody teach that to you? Did you hear it from somebody? But I feel like that's a very veteran actor move to create um, a character from what was given to you.
You know, as soon as you said that, you know, when like you have an answer, but it's like behind a wall, like you know that there's something. But as soon as you said that, a few people, like a few people that I don't exactly recall right now, came to my mind. Um, to not take up too much time, I did learn by watching actors. I know that. I learned by hearing, you know, I would
Uh,
hear about these offhanded things, right? I'd hear about um just just like someone would mention in a conversation, an actor friend, like, yeah, you know, you know, sort of added this little element to my character and they loved it. And you know, hearing that kind of thing enough times, I realized that this is possible, you know. And I suppose I took it was definitely like a subconscious thing, you know. I never found myself writing down notes listening to people, but
mm,
I think over time hearing that, you know, and I definitely noted in my head, like, okay, what kind of situations are they doing this in? Were they doing this, you know, as a guest star? Were they doing this as a series regular, series lead type thing? And obviously, usually that happens more when you're a series lead or, you know, guest star, and when you're going to be
yeah.
on the show for a while. Or sorry, series lead or series regular, and you're going to be on the show for a while. Um, and so I think, yeah, I just took note of all the different experiences that I heard about and witnessed as well. Definitely would see Freddie Highmore from The Good Doctor, you know, changing little things, adding things, subtracting things, asking questions. And I think over time, just my understanding of the fact that the character doesn't always have to be as written 100%. That realization sort of came over me. And I think that I've also realized in hindsight that it doesn't always have to be for sure. That was the first part of the lesson that I learned. But then the second part of the lesson that I learned
Mm.
is that sometimes it should be, you know? Um, and and I think that
How did you learn
I
that
first
lesson?
started, well, because the 100 taught me that lesson really, because I
Mm.
remember, so I think that the first time that I felt that I had a bit of creative input was on The Good Doctor, specifically working with Mike Listo, as one of the executive producers and directors. I felt that he just, I felt very comfortable with him. You know, he's a very nice guy, and I think that he enjoys working with me. And so it was the first time I found myself comfortable saying, like, you know, can we change this line, or what do we think? Um, and
Mm.
and most of the time my ideas would get shot down, but it was my first sort of like delving into that. You know, and that was what I was doing when I would ask, you know, so it's never a problem if your idea gets denied. It's not really a bad thing. Um, so then, you know, coming off of The Good Doctor, I felt sort of I reached a bit of a higher level of confidence. And then, you know, I booked something like The 100, and walking onto that set the first day, it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe. You know, The Good Doctor, I'd been on The Good Doctor for like in the first season, and maybe the third season at that point, maybe not even yet, or like around that time actually. And and then, you know, so that's a relatively new show. The vibe on every set is different, you know. And then you walk into the set of The 100, very famous show, very well known and very long running, and it just feels different. Not less nice. Not, you know, there was a plethora of incredible people that I met, cast and crew on that show. But it's just I just walked in and I didn't even need to like see anything or have anyone tell me anything. I just kind of knew. I'm like, okay. And it's, you know, especially coming in as a guest star. I mean, my first ever scene, I was surrounded by like regulars or like leads from like season,
Yeah.
you know, from season 5, season 1, some of them. And so I walked in and I was like, you know what? All right, I accept and love my place on this show, and I will just listen and take everything in. And that was fantastic. And I just loved being on The 100. It was incredible.